Okay, the Georgia Farm Bureau's Young Farmer Program is designed to develop the next generation of ag leaders in our state. Each year, a group of young farmers travel to the nation's capital to meet with lawmakers and discuss issues that are important to Georgia agriculture. The Monitor's Mark Wildman made the trip this year, and he has this report for us.
Every year in Georgia, the average age of farmers seems to get higher. With more young people leaving the farm for more stable careers, the state and nation relies on more food from less family farmers. In this room, over 30 young farmers from Georgia are in Washington, D.C. to share with their elected officials their thoughts on agriculture. They represent all areas of the state and many different sectors of agriculture. Looking at their faces, you can see some of the future of Georgia agriculture.
I see future Farm Bureau leaders, future legislators, future senators, future congressmen. The capabilities are endless, and we're all going to fade away someday, and someone's going to have to take our place. And for Farm Bureau to train them, let them develop their roots and their character in Farm Bureau, and if you lead them and train them that way, they'll never depart from it. They'll always remember what this program, this organization did for them to learn how to express themselves.
There is no shortage of issues to express their concerns about. Rick Krause from the American Farm Bureau discusses a climate change bill that could crush many farms with overregulation and stresses the importance of telling their lawmakers their stories.
Legislators like and need to hear from their constituents. Bringing farmers and ranchers up to visit their delegations is a very effective way to communicate our messages. We can go talk to them and their staffs, but it doesn't mean much coming from us. They want to hear directly from their constituents, and that is the way that we get our policy done, and that is one of the reasons that Farm Bureau is one of the more effective lobbying organizations in Washington, D.C.
Once on the Hill, they are given the opportunity to meet with the two U.S. senators from Georgia. Saxby Chambliss and Johnny Isakson both support agriculture and share with the group their thoughts on the industry.
It's hard to believe here we are in the third crop year of the current Farm Bill, and we still haven't gotten every aspect of the 2008 Farm Bill implemented by USDA. We continue to pound those folks down there to try to get the remaining issues relative to actively engaged and whatnot resolved, but we're still not quite there yet.
Another issue front and center is the estate tax issue, and the senators feel that lawmakers are close to an agreement.
And what it would be a permanent $5 million unified credit index to inflation permanently, which would be $10 million for a couple, $5 million for an individual. Tax rate would be 35% on the amount of the estate over $5 million plus inflation. And all the assets would pass to the heirs at stepped up value, meaning if the farm was worth $1 million and was exempt from taxes because that's under $5 million and it passed to you, your basis in the farm would be $1 million.
Once they finished meeting with the senators, the group split up and headed to the House side of Capitol Hill. There they met with their congressmen to discuss the issues in smaller groups. The chairman of the Young Farmer Committee is Matt Bottoms of Pike County. He feels trips like this one are very important for young farmers, even though it is very difficult for them to find the time.
I feel like probably the most important thing to take away from this is to say I'm not insignificant. I do have a role in the legislation of our country. I do have a role. I do have a voice to be able to talk about things that affect me personally on my farm, and so that's really the best thing that I feel anybody could take away is that I'm significant. I have a voice. I can be a part of this legislative process.
As the years go by and the number of family farms shrink, efforts like this one from the Georgia Farm Bureau Young Farmers Program are going to get more important.
I'm excited, and a tough road as well. Where we live is growing up in industry and retail, and but I look forward to the future, and I think with stuff like this going on, I think it can only get better. I think that we're doing a lot to improve the situation that we're in.
For some, it was their first trip to the nation's capital, and maybe their last. But one thing they're taking home with them is that issues that are made here will affect them greatly back on the farm. Reporting from Washington, D.C., I'm Mark Wildman for the Georgia Farm Monitor.